Here at the Asian Financial Forum 2016, we're with Stuart Gulliver. He's Group Chief Executive of HSBC Holdings. And Stuart, thanks very much for joining us. Now, you've been discussing the global economy. How would you look at 2016 going forward, bearing in mind the ups and downs across the markets?
I think 2016 will be a complex year. It'll also be a volatile year, and it's obviously started off with that level of volatility. We've already seen large moves in markets taking place. So it's going to be a complex year. Having said that, overall we're still expecting global growth to be of the order of about 2.5% GDP growth. We're expecting China to be of the order of 6.7 to 7% GDP growth, UK about 2.4%, and actually here in Hong Kong about 2.4%. So I think it'll be a volatile year, but I'm expecting actually economic growth to be quite reasonable.
Now, looking at the inflow of foreign direct investment into global emerging economies, including Asia, do you think the story's now over? Is it really a case of going into reverse?
I know there's definitely a school of thought that's trying to put up an argument that the emerging market story is now a thing of the past. I don't subscribe to that. I think that the demographics of the emerging markets, and for this let's count them as Asia Pacific and the Middle East and parts of Latin America and Africa, remain extremely powerful, and demographics at the end of the day drive economic growth, provided the right policies are in place and the right financial reforms are in place. So what I think we're seeing is actually perhaps a cyclical downturn in investment confidence in the emerging markets. But what you're seeing, for example, in China with a One Belt, One Road strategy is considerable economic growth that's likely to benefit China from investment in infrastructure in other countries. The One Belt, One Road touches about 4 billion of the 6 billion people on the planet. And meanwhile, domestically within China, China is moving from being a manufacturing-based economy into a service economy, which will create a lot more jobs than manufacturing does, and actually do so without the environmental damage that actually primary and secondary industry have created within China. So I don't think this is the end of the emerging market story at all. In fact, the emerging market story ends when those economies have emerged and actually become fully developed.
Now, looking at China's Belt and Road Initiative going forward, how do you see that? And is HSBC particularly looking at this?
It is something that we're specifically looking at because we have one of the top 5 infrastructure and project financing teams of any bank globally, and we spend a lot of time financing the emerging markets and financing exactly the kind of geographies in which the One Belt, One Road initiative will run through. And so we see great opportunities to work with the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and with various Chinese companies as actually that investment takes place, and indeed with the local partners in those countries. So this is a business opportunity that actually at HSBC we're quite heavily focused on.
Now, people in Hong Kong are looking to see whether interest rates are going to rise inevitably because of the hikes in the United States. And I guess HSBC is going to be really in the middle of that decision, isn't it?
I think as US rates rise, Hong Kong rates will automatically rise, because the way the Hong Kong dollar peg and the currency board works is Hong Kong effectively has a passive monetary policy. Its monetary policy is tied to that of the Federal Reserve. Now, we expect at HSBC the Fed to raise rates probably by another 2 lots of 25 basis points in 2016 and potentially another 2 lots of 25 basis points in 2017. Now, that level of rate rise Hong Kong can easily manage its way through. That is not a significant issue at all to Hong Kong, either its economy or indeed the property market.
So you've been here and speaking at the Asian Financial Forum. What's been your impression this year?
This year is actually, again, very well attended by the great and the good of both the business community, academia and government. This is a very important conference that focuses Hong Kong as a leading international financial centre within the Asia-Pacific region. This has become one of those keynote conferences which we've always wished to attend and be represented at, because it brings together at the start of the year the key thinkers and, as I say, most importantly, positions Hong Kong as a key financial centre within Asia.